Hey there. Welcome back to the Long Con. Although I guess in this case it probably ought to be called the Long Drive. I'm John Hartness, and this is the video show where I go to different conventions all around the Southeast, and hell, anywhere else that they will pay to fly me there or otherwise make it easy for me to get there. And I tell you what it's like to be a professional writer going on the convention circuit, going to Comic-Cons, going to science fiction and fantasy cons, and you get to see behind the curtain and see the trials and tribulations and the saddle sore driving and everything that we go through to get to these conventions and introduce you to our work and to show you kind of what the other parts of being a professional writer are. This is a big part of my job and a big part of my business plan. So I've been doing a convention every week for about the past month, and I've got three more conventions between now and Halloween, not counting the one I'm doing this weekend. Not Halloween. Shit, sorry. It is the week of Halloween. It's Thursday, November 25th. November? Jesus. This is not the way you want to start an 8-hour drive. It's Thursday, October 25th, 2018, and I'm getting ready to head down to Orlando for the Spooky Empire Con. I will be down there from Thursday night through Sunday. Then I'm driving home. And then I've got 3 more conventions between now and Thanksgiving. There. After Thanksgiving, I have 2 conventions between now and the end of 2018, and then I'm really slowing down next year. I'm going to slow down to probably 2 cons a month. That's slowing down. So yeah, I'm going to drive anywhere from 8 to 10 hours today, depending on traffic and how often I have to stop to pee. My wife has very kindly packed a bag of snacks, so that'll cut down on the cost of road food and travel. And all I have to do is pick up a soda or a bottle of water on the way, and I'll be good to go. Probably every time I stop for gas, I'll pick up a drink and take a leak, empty one tank, fill up the other. So I haven't done this con before. It's a horror-themed fan and autograph style con. It's very similar to Mad Monster Party, which is an event that happens here in Charlotte every year. I've done Mad Monster Party before and sold pretty well at that one. I'm one of the spotlight guests at Spooky Empire this year, which was very flattering and very gratifying. So what that means when you're a special guest or a guest of honor, or in this case a spotlight guest, that usually means that the convention is covering some level of your expenses. You are thought to be a little more of an attraction and a reason for people to come to the convention. So it's very flattering, and it's very much a mark of honor for me to be asked to serve as one of the spotlight guests for this con. I'm very excited about doing that. This is only about the second time that's happened to me. That also means that the convention has, put me on a ton of programming, which I'm all in favor of. If I'm doing a convention, I want to be in front of people as much as possible, either on programming, or if I'm not on panels, then I at least want to be in the dealer room, able to shake hands and kiss babies. I don't want to be sitting in my hotel room writing. I can do that shit at home, and the food's better. So if I'm going to travel to a con, I want to be out there. So yeah, they've got me programmed pretty heavily, and they're also picking up the cost of my hotel for the weekend. That's part of the deal when you're one of the spotlight guests or guests of honor, is the convention's expected to cover some level or some piece of your expenses, if not all of them. Writers typically don't get appearance fees unless you're in the very upper echelon of writers. Neil Gaiman gets an appearance fee. People that are at that level, they get appearance fees. For the record, Gaiman's appearance fee is a donation of a required amount to a local library charity. So that's pretty cool. A lot of the Celebrities, the film and video guests, they get either an appearance fee or they get a guarantee. That means that their travel is covered and they are guaranteed X amount of dollars as far as they will sell this much in autographs over the course of the weekend. So if you are a star on a TV show, you may have, if you're a small star, you know, you've done a few movies, but you're not working a ton right now, or you haven't had big leading roles, your guarantee may be $5,000. That means that you're going to sit at your table and sign autographs and sell those autographed pictures or sell photo ops to fans all weekend. Those, let's say those photo ops cost $50 a piece, because that keeps my math easy. To meet a $5,000 guarantee, you need to sell 100 photo ops or autographed pictures or whatever. If you only sell 80, then the convention is out $1,000 because it's a guarantee. You get that $5,000. After you sell over your guarantee, there's a money split. The convention gets some and you get some. I don't know what the split is. I don't operate in that world. Hell, for all I know, some people may get all of the extra money over their guarantee. I really have no idea. I haven't looked into it because writers don't really get to do that. Nobody pays me for an autograph. If you've got a book of mine, you've paid me for my work, and I will sign it for nothing. I don't give a shit where you bought it. If you've pirated the ebook and printed it, fuck it, I'll probably sign that, because hell, if you've done that, you've gone through a lot more fucking work than if you just bought the thing on Amazon and probably spent the same amount in paper. But anyway, I'm headed down to Orlando. Google says it's an 8-hour drive. That never takes into account traffic and bathroom breaks. So I expect I'll be rolling into Orlando sometime around 10 o'clock tonight. It's a little after noon right now. I expect it's going to take probably 9.5, 10 hours to get there. That means I better put my ass in the car. Well, I'm already in the car. I better put it in the road then. I'll be back. I'll pick up a bunch of these over the course of the weekend, and you can kind of see how the con's progressing. Talk to y'all soon. Bye. Hey there. So I'm about 2 hours into the drive. I am between Columbia and Charleston, South Carolina, and I just stopped for gas. So wanted to mention that one thing that's important when you start traveling a lot, and anybody who's traveled a lot for work, for their day job, knows this, understanding where the cheap gas is. I'm at a pilot station off of Interstate 77, and when I got in the truck this morning, I was at a little over quarter tank of gas. Now, a lot of times I will want to fill up before I leave so I can just blow straight through. But one, I knew this was going to be a long trip, and I knew I was going to have to stop to pee a couple of times, and I always try to multitask so I'm making the most of my stops. So also, gas in South Carolina is anywhere from 15 to 25 cents per gallon cheaper than in North Carolina or Georgia because of the state taxes. And God knows I've driven enough between Charlotte and Atlanta to know the difference in gas prices. So I always want to fill up in South Carolina. I don't know what gas costs in Florida. I don't know if the taxes make it cheaper or more expensive than South Carolina or Georgia, but I know I can save a quarter a gallon when I fill up in South Carolina. And I drive a Chevy Silverado, so we're talking a 21-gallon fill-up most of the time. So we're talking $5. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if we're talking 10 trips a year, $10 per trip, if I'm going to Atlanta and coming home, I'm going to fill up twice. So if I fill up in South Carolina both times, I've saved $10 on my trip. I travel a lot, and we're talking over time. We're in well over $100 a year just in me buying gas in the right state. And I live close enough to South Carolina to almost always fill up down there. It's just one of the things that I had to learn as I was starting to do more and more conventions. Because when I was traveling for my sales job on an expense account, I didn't give a shit what gas cost because it wasn't my money, or if it was, I was getting reimbursed or I was getting paid mileage. So either way, it didn't matter to me what gas cost really. But now I pay a lot more attention to that. I pay a lot more attention to eating on the road. I'm much more likely to pack a bag with some food as opposed to stopping at an Applebee's and stuff like that. Because for a mid-lister like me, somebody who's not often traveling on somebody else's nickel, every dollar that I can save really does go into the processes. If I can cut off 20 or 50 bucks in food and gas over the course of this trip, well, that's either 20 or 50 bucks left that I have in the bank, or it might be 20 or 50 dollars I can use to spend on something cool for myself in the dealer room. Or hey, Mick Foley's going to be at this convention, maybe I'll spring for an autograph. It's really unlikely. I'm not much of an autograph guy. I love pro wrestling, as can be seen by my Tommaso Ciampa t-shirt and the fact that I've been listening to the Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard podcast with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson the entire trip. But I'm not much for autographs. I have a signed Rey Mysterio art print because my friend David Beauchamp did a custom art piece for me. And if I think about it, I'll put a photo up in one of these little video things somehow, if I can figure out how to do that on iMovie. If not, then go to my website. I'll put it up on johnhartness.com. But yeah, it's all about, if I save 20 bucks a trip, well, I am doing over 40 trips this year. If I can save 20 bucks on each one of them, that's $800. And now we're talking not an insignificant amount of money. So building a career as a mid-list, small press, or self-published author is about the little tiny pieces of money. It's about the 50 bucks here and there. It's about the money from my Patreon patrons every month. Every single Patreon patron matters a lot because it all contributes to making a living, and saving money is really the same as making money. So it lets me spend money on the things that can go back into making me money, like buying a new video camera and working that into my trips. So it's all part of the hustle. All right, I'm getting back on the road. All right, I'm back. It's 5:45 on Thursday, October, whatever the fuck this is. I am at the Florida Welcome Center, and I don't know if you can see the back window of the truck, but a whole lot of water on it, because as I've driven into Florida, I've also driven into rain. I kind of didn't look at the weather before I made this trip, and we're in hurricane season, so I don't know if I'm driving into a hurricane. I don't think I am, but I really have no idea. But I know I'm driving into some rain. It's been a pretty easy drive so far. I'm on about 5.5 hours total. I think I've got about 2.5 to 3 hours to Orlando. I haven't looked. I haven't opened up Google Maps in a while. I'm working through my third episode of Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson. That's the podcast I've been rocking on this trip. And I'm going to sit here in the Resteria and have a sandwich and another Monster, which has made me pee neon fucking yellow. I made it all the way through Georgia with no stops, so by the time I felt like, God, I gotta pee, I was like, okay, well, I'm 20 miles from the state line. It'll be neat to just shoot at the Welcome Center. Not that you can see anything other than my big fat head and the inside of the truck, but it's neat for me, and let's face it, it's really all about me. So yeah, it's been a pretty easy drive. I'm now further on 95 South than I've ever actually driven. I've been to Orlando a lot, but I've never driven it. I used to come down for lighting conferences a lot, but I always flew. And I believe that even the time Susie and I came down back in the 90s for the Nightclub and Bar Show, I'm pretty sure we flew then and rented a car. So yeah, I haven't driven to Orlando ever. I'm not really thinking anything of it. It's just more interstate. But we'll color in another little section of the interstates of America on my map, I guess. I don't actually do that. I do keep a list of all the states I've been to, and I like to check off one new state every year. I didn't add any new states in 2018, so I need to work on that for 2019. I need to find some reason to go to a state I've never been to, which it's tough because I've pretty much been everywhere I can stomach driving. That means I'm going to have to look further afield for places to go in 2019. But I don't know. Drive's going pretty good. Ass hurts a little. I mean, the truck's comfortable for a long drive, but nothing's really that comfortable when you're sitting in roughly the same position for 5 to 8 hours. So yeah, getting a little stiff, getting a little sore. But I'm going to have a sandwich and yeah, I don't know. I've got a Mountain Dew, I've got a Monster, I'll have something to drink. A few Kit Kats. Susie packed me a great food bag for the road this time. So I'm going to grab something to eat and should be in Orlando, I don't know, 9:30, so 3.5 hours. I'll catch up with you then. Peace.
Hey there. I'm back. Or I'm here. So it's a little after 10 and I am in my hotel room in Orlando. Woo! I made it. I've been here for a little while, actually. I got to the hotel about 9:15, got into my room about 9:30, took a little time to finish off some of the road snacks and have a late dinner, and now I'm sitting watching a little bit of Thursday Night Football and recording a video for you fine people. So overall, it was 9 hours in the car, which is about what I had figured. Did really good on gas. I had to stop right before I got to the hotel and fill up again. So we're at 1 1/4 tanks of gas for the trip so far. The room's nice. The room had no problems at check-in. This place is big. It's at the Caribe Royale Resort. It's like 3 towers of hotel. It looks, driving up, like I'm coming to a Vegas casino, is what it feels like when I pulled up out front. But yeah, I've got my parking all set. I've got tomorrow morning. I'm gonna hang out in here and write in the morning and do a little other social media work. And then I'm going to try to load into the dealer room, get my books set up on the author table or creators track table or whatever they call it early afternoon, and maybe shoot some episodes of the long con in this nice little sitting area over the course of the afternoon. So we've got a meetup around 5, and then I don't have a panel until 7. So, yeah, it was a good day, long day. 9 hours of driving is more than I've done in one day in quite a while, probably since I drove to Contraflow a few years ago, but it's not that bad. Like I said in the last video, the truck's pretty comfortable on long trips. My ass hurts a little, but otherwise I'm in pretty good shape. So, but fuck, it's hot in Orlando. It's over 80 degrees and 1,000,000,000% humidity. I thought I was done with that shit for the year when it finally got cold in North Carolina. But no. It's still fucking hot in Orlando. So, I'm a sweaty mess because the humidity. But yeah, so like I said, good day. Done now. You guys have a good one. Hey, welcome back to The Long Con. I'm your host, John Hartness, and I am in my hotel room on day 2 of Spooky Empire in Orlando, Florida. I missed yesterday. I didn't video shit yesterday. I was tired. I'm tired today. I didn't sleep well last night, which sucks. Usually I sleep okay in a new place, but I waited too late to eat dinner. I didn't eat dinner until about 10 o'clock at night, and I had a Mountain Dew with dinner, and that's later than I usually do caffeine in my normal life. So about 2:30 in the morning, I woke up. And I didn't just wake up. I woke up and was wide ass awake. I was thinking about book layout. I was thinking about marketing. I was thinking about cover ideas. I was thinking about money. Hey, Amazon paid me 2 days early this month, so meat is back on the menu. I was thinking about book selling at this event. I was thinking about the panels I had today. So as my mind went topsy-turvy, I lay there for a while, and then I said fuck it, and I got up and I watched a couple episodes of Sabrina on Netflix, which is really good, at least the first couple episodes. And about 5 o'clock, I got back to sleep, and then woke up at 9 to go get a shower and do my 11 a.m. panel. I did a panel at 11 called Writing is Hard But We Love It. Then I did a panel at noon called The Dirt, which is basically talking about the process of getting published and getting movies funded and the business side of being a creative. And then I had a little break where I sat at the table and sold books for a while. Then I did what was supposed to be a spotlight interview or a guest spotlight on me and Joel, who is the other spotlight guest. But one guy showed up, so the spotlight was very dim. And I can't speak for Joel, but that was a little embarrassing. It's kind of like I threw a party and nobody showed up. I was the spotlight guest and there was no one there to see the spotlight. But, at the end of that, I sat out at the signing table. I signed a couple of things. I sold a couple more books. I'm selling pretty well at this event given our placement. If I come back to do this show again, I'll buy a table in the dealer room because there's a flaming fuck ton of people here, and not all of them are coming down the hallway where we are. So this is very much a convention where if I do it again, I want to do it with a table in the dealer room. I think there's money to be made here. I think that I would want to be fairly judicious in the titles I brought and focus more on horror and harder science fiction. I don't think we're going to move a whole lot of Falstaff Crush here, but there's money being spent at this con. And I feel like I'm leaving money on the table not being in the dealer room in front of as many people as possible. But I didn't know that coming in. I couldn't get a good answer from the people from my friends who had done this con before, or really anyone, as to what attendance was like. There's over 20,000 people at this show, so this is a big damn convention. You live and learn. I'm not going to come back next year just because Orlando's a long damn way from Charlotte. So it'll be a 2020 return if I come back then. I just can't make that trip every year. And I'm guessing that the booths are probably expensive in the dealer hall because it is a big show. I mean, my booth for Raleigh SuperCon was $550, and it was about half again as big as this, so I would expect a dealer booth to cost me about $400 at this show. And if I'm going to do that, I've got to plan for it. So that's where I am today. My panels went well. My guest spotlight was embarrassing. And I had some really, really bad chicken tenders a little while ago. Not like food poisoning bad, but just shitty. They'd been under a heat lamp for a long time and they were really dense and really just not good. So that wasn't fun. But it's about 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm not sure what my plans are for the rest of the day. I don't have any more panels. So I'm gonna just kind of hang out and chill in the room for a bit. I'm tired. So I'll hit y'all up tomorrow as I'm riding home, let you know how we did for the weekend total. I think I don't know, I'm probably close to $200 and we still have a day to go. So that's not bad. For what I brought and what my expectations were for this convention, that's not bad. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Hey there. Let's see. It is 5:20 on Sunday, October 28th, and I am in Flagler, Florida. If I weren't still staring at a 6-hour drive, I'd stop in and see my aunt, who lives here and I haven't seen in a while, but I want to get home before 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not going to do that. So we're done with Spooky Empire. The con ended up being very good. I had a great time, met some fantastic new people, which is great. I feel like I made some new fans, which was the whole intent, and I sold some books. I think I ended up the weekend right about $350 in gross sales, so that's pretty good. That pretty much covers expenses. By the time, we take out the cost of books, I'm probably looking at, I don't know, $150 in gas and maybe $100 of food. So we're close on a break-even point for this con, and as people buy more and more of the second and third books in series and things of that nature, it'll turn out to be good. This con was big, a lot bigger than I expected. I think I said it in another video, I couldn't get a good sense going in how many people come through this convention. And the way the creators track is structured, at a lot of these big horror and celebrity style cons, the creative side is kind of an afterthought. So we were down a hallway and off to the side, so a fair number of people never saw us. Now, we had some great panels and we had some good attendance in the panels, but if I come back to this show, and I would like to in the future, I definitely want to spring for a table in the dealer room, because I think that that's an opportunity for a significant sales weekend. I'd have to hustle, but if I did $350 off in a hallway where probably 75% of the convention never went, I could probably do $1,500 to $2,000 in the dealer room without working too hard. So that's something I'll have to consider going back. But I would definitely return to the show, especially if we can work a deal again where my room is comped or there's some other arrangement we can come to. But yeah, everybody was great. There were a lot of excellent people on the panels with me. I'm looking forward to staying connected with some of those folks over the next days, weeks, months, years, who knows. So yeah, I had a good time. I'm tired. The rest of this drive is not looking fun. I slept fairly well, but it's my last panel was at 2, which means I didn't get out of the hotel parking lot till 3:30. That's if I don't stop to pee too often. That puts me midnight getting home. That's with no traffic. Traffic getting out of Orlando proper sucked. That's why it's 2 hours later when I'm shooting this video, because I just didn't want to fucking stop until I was well outside Orlando. So, yeah, I'm looking at probably anywhere between midnight and 1 to get home, and then get up tomorrow and order stuff for the convention for next weekend, because no point in ordering anything for next weekend. That's not going to happen. I've got to place an order for Conjuration in Atlanta in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah. Delays on shipping are killing me right now. So, yeah, anything I order tomorrow, which will be the 29th of October, I don't expect I'll see it until the week of Conjuration, and Conjuration's like the 16th or 17th. So, that's a little dicey. And then we've got Thanksgiving in between that and Atomicon, so I lose several shipping days there. I've got to really plan my ordering over the next couple of weeks to make sure I'm well stocked. I sold out of Harker Year One and Bubba Year One, and I was listening to something on one of the podcasts where there was there's a conflict among some of the WWE people some time ago, where the merch people were like, hey, we sold out of all these things, isn't that great? And Vince McMahon was furious because he never wants to sell out of anything. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm with Vinnie Mac on this. I would have happily taken twice as many copies of both of those titles, but I didn't have them. I have an order from CreateSpace for more Harker ones and an order for more Bubba ones that I ordered thinking I had plenty of time to get them, to put them in the truck for this con, and they haven't arrived yet. I hope that they will arrive for this weekend. Well, I know that Bubba 1 will not. I've already got the estimated delivery, and I'm not going to have Bubba 1 for Muggles Market, which drives me batshit crazy. I hope that my other shipment will arrive so I can have Harker 1 and Amazing Grace for Muggles Market and for the North Carolina Writers Network Conference. So that's a point of anxiety right now, is delivery time, because Amazon has they've added basically a week at least to delivery, and not just Amazon but also Ingram. Everything is taking at least a week longer than it did just a few months ago. And with Christmas coming on, that's going to slow things down even more. So I'm a little nervous about my upcoming orders and my upcoming shipments. I did get some good news this week, right before I left, or maybe while I've been gone. I got word that my application for a booth for Raleigh SuperCon for 2019 was approved, so I will be back at Raleigh SuperCon with the Falstaff Books booth. We are going to take a corner booth again, which was fantastic this year. I had Teresa and Melissa helping me man the booth, so hopefully I'll be able to get them in there again this year to work with me. I know Gail Martin and Darren and Jason Gilbert have all kind of gone in together to try and get a booth, and I know Michelle and Antoine is looking to book a booth for her Octopunk Media, which will be her live stream and her Octopunk stickers and stuff, and also her novel Paradisa, which we will be releasing late this year. So hopefully we'll have a very big Falstaff presence at Raleigh SuperCon. That event did very well for all of us, and I definitely want to do some more panels next year too. Clay and Susan Griffith headed up the panels, and I know I did several, Gail did several, Natanya Barron did several, and Clay and Susan did, 4 or 6, and that was really good. The panels at that convention were packed. So I am stopped at a Circle K in Flagler, Florida, and I'm gonna go take a leak and get some candy and Mountain Dew for the road, and then I'll be back on cruising. Our travel accompaniment, sorry, I didn't realize I was so shadowy. I've got my iPad here. This operates as a monitor. Does that make like some crazy infinite bizarro loop where you go dee-doo, dee-doo, dee-doo. It doesn't, does it? No. Okay, never mind. I use my iPad for a monitor so that I can frame the shot and make sure my giant head is actually in the whole frame. But yeah, I'm going to go pee, get some road candy. Our accompaniment on the road back is currently 83 weeks with Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff, another wrestling podcast. You can find out more about that at, I don't know, wherever you listen to podcasts. I've also started listening to the Shingles audiobook. And oh my God, we are some offensive bastards. So if you are not easily offended, you should check out the Shingles audiobook. It's the reason none of us will ever direct a film for Disney. All right, peace out, kids.